it's just incredible to see what these people can do on like 0% of the budget of WWE or anything like that. Because they train so fearlessly just on the ground and stuff. I can't wait to see what they can do like in a proper ring with like the elasticated ropes and everything like that.
Well, welcome back to the Grapple Theory podcast. Today I'm joined by another very special guest, and we're making our first foray on the podcast over to Africa, because we are going to the company that have been blowing up social media for the past few months. We're going to Uganda, to SGW, Soft Ground Wrestling, and we're joined by Lord White. Lord White, thank you for gracing us with your presence here on the podcast today.
Good afternoon, James. I am very happy to be here.
Well, we're honoured to have you here. Honestly, it's been fantastic seeing what SGW have done, what you've done there as well. Incredible, and it seems like you're having a lot of fun with it. Talk to me first of all about SGW stuff, like how, and again we spoke about just before you started recording that you're relatively new to wrestling. Like, so talk to me about how SGW came, like how you came to be part of it.
Okay, so I've lived in Uganda for quite a few years at this point. I first came here in 2016, but I haven't lived here solid. I'm kind of like in and out of the country. And throughout my time here in Uganda, I just ended up doing like a lot of the creative arts. So I've spent time as a graphic designer for a record label, which moved into me DJing like at one of their music festivals, and then went from that into acting, because there's quite the demand for white actors here in Uganda, because there's not many of us. So I did that for a few months, like with the theatre company, like touring around Uganda, and then eventually into this. So I'd actually thought about doing some kind of professional wrestling here already. I don't know, do you know much about like Ugandan culture? I mean, like specifically, I think one of the main things that most people know is Hollywood.
Yeah, vaguely familiar.
Yeah, so they're the Ugandan action film guys, and I've done some filming with them before, and I'm like friends with the guys who run it, and I was just bouncing ideas off with this guy like a few months back. We're kind of discussing what cool things we could do in Uganda, and I'm just like, yo, we could do like professional wrestling, because obviously I just got into it. I'm like, this is awesome. And they're like, yeah, that'd be great. You wouldn't even need a ring. You could just draw like spray paint a circle on the ground or something like that. And it kind of went onto the back burner for a bit. And then I just saw that the post which went viral on Twitter, I think back in February or March or something, like this, check out these Ugandan wrestlers, and it had the phone number at the end of the video, and I was just like, holy shit, this is what I've been thinking about, what I was looking for. So I just WhatsApped the guy straight away. I was just, as soon as I saw the video, as soon as I saw the phone number, straight on the phone, where are you exactly? When can I get down there? And then it just went from there.
I was going to say, so like in terms of, you mentioned that gap there, so what was the gap from you having the idea to like getting in touch with the guys? Like how long a gap was that really, from like this being like, this is something I could do, to realising, oh, there's something that's already going on that's like what I want to do?
So I think it was like November last year, about like the first like proper genesis of the ideas came, and I was actually searching to see if there's anything like it in Uganda already. I was like on the the Facebook Uganda expat groups and stuff. Is there any kind of professional wrestling scene in Uganda? And everybody's just like, no, nothing like that. And yeah, I just couldn't find anything. And then, like I said, just because this one video went viral, I was able to find it. So yeah it's but it kind of shows how hard a lot of these things are to find.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, I was looking for something like this, and I couldn't find it. and it's like I said, it was only by sheer luck, chance that it came up on my Twitter feed, and I was able to contact them from there.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, wrestling as well is generally very much like that, especially for, like, wrestlers almost specifically, is like sometimes you're waiting for that big break, you know what I mean, that one viral moment that gets you noticed everywhere, and it seems like it's been very much that for SGW in terms of, like, no one had heard of them, and now they're, like, at the moment the biggest thing in independent wrestling, because they're doing all this cool, crazy stuff that no one's ever seen before, and it's, like, taking the social media sphere by storm. And that's a really good way, obviously, to get your name out there. I mean, like, obviously it was going before you were there, and now you're obviously part of it. But, like, as part of that, you must be astounded at how big it's grown, how wide that sphere of people that know about SGW now is.
Yeah, it's been weird. I kind of when I filmed the first part. Like the first pop thing I did, like, we didn't want Uganda anymore. But I kind of thought, okay, this is, when they post this, there's going to be a few people that try it. Because I just thought, this will be funny. But I didn't expect it just to go, ooh, like huge. So it's bizarre because I kind of like I say I had success in Uganda before with the music, the acting, and things like that. But this is the first time something I've done has gone international. So yeah, it's been weird, and I can just post a picture of myself on Twitter now, just going like that, and it gets like 100 likes, and I'm just like. I know why, but it's still like, it's
still a bit of a mind fuck, isn't it? Like, how is this happening?
Yeah.
No, I get that, but it's been great. It's great to see the rise it's taken on. I mean, in terms of, like, going back to sort of like your intro to wrestling, like, first of all, like, if you were relatively new to wrestling at the time, you'd had the idea to maybe start your own company or something like that. Like, what was it that drew you to wrestling in the first place? What was that catalyst where you were like, this is something that I'm now interested in?
I mean, I never really watched. I didn't. Like, I didn't watch, like, wrestling as a kid. I think a lot of people who are into this, they started watching it young. But, like, when I was younger, I would be watching stuff like. There's a very loud coughing.
No, it's all right. It's fine. I can hear it, but I can still hear you fine. All right.
Good. When I was younger, I was more into Doctor Who, Games Master, Nightmare, and ITV, things like that. That was my thing. But I think as I've gotten older, like I think I was, I was just like, let's try watching wrestling. And I never kind of understood it before, because I was always one of those, it's really annoying people. It's like, wrestling is fake, and when I watched it, I kind of understood straight away. I'm like, oh, now I get it. It's basically just a extremely violent soap opera.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And it's just straight away into it. Like it clicked, and then I was like, damn, I wish I'd started watching this like 30 years ago or something. But yeah, was there a second part of the question?
I was just sort of wondering, like, again, like almost like that, just how it came to be sort of like on your radar as like, this is something I'm interested in.
And I think when I was watching it, because again, like I have a lot of creative ideas here, and I'm just, I'm watching and I'm thinking, this could work in Uganda, and I'm just, straight away, like when I'm just discussing it with my friend, I'm kind of, maybe I could be like a stupid colonizer character or something like that. Call myself a colonizer. The name went through several iterations before I settled on Lord Right. But yeah, that was it. It was because it's very. It's easier to do creative work here because there are so many talented people, and I find the rise of SGW very much comparable to Ricardo. And I'm probably going to have to mention Ricardo several times during this interview, purely because they are so similar.
No, sure.
Because, again, they make really high quality action films on hardly any budget. And yes, they are funny, but if you actually like break down the action sequences, they're filmed incredibly well. And it's the same with SGW. You know, these guys have hardly any budget. They've got a muddy field, four bamboo poles, and they're pulling off like amazing stuff. Like it's great when you watch it on the videos, but when you're actually like, you know, stood there at the ringside, actually watching people do flips off the corner and stuff, you know, like landing straight in the mud, bang! It's incredible, and you know, you get that so much here. There's so many talented people who are just doing this kind of thing for the love of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, like, it's something that I find intriguing. I had down actually to sort of ask you later on, but what you said there perfectly leads into what I wanted to ask. It's sort of the case where there's almost now for SGW that like extra, I guess, not necessarily pressure, but desire to, you've got to now show people, oh, we're more than just the soft ground wrestling gimmick. Like, it's more than just wrestling on the mud floor and that's the gimmick. It's like, because you watch it and like you say, like you can see they're talented wrestlers. They can really go and they know.
Crazy
so like,
talented,
it's about getting that across now, isn't it? Rather than like making people see beyond the gimmick. That if it was in just a regular wrestling ring, it would still be just as good as it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good gimmick having the actual field, and you know, like hopefully when the real ring arrives, it's I would like it to be, you know, like a dual setup, you know, keep the original, because that's the identity, and then you know you have the main one for, you know, special events, special matches or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just like I say, it's just incredible to see what these people can do on like 0% of the budget of WWE or anything like that. Like as you can probably tell, I'm not really a trained wrestler or anything. I'm good at like going in front of people and like talking bullshit. But if you ask me to do like a backflip or anything, no way, that's not happening. And even, you know, I want to, depending on how long I'm in Uganda, because like I said, you know, going backwards and forwards, you know, I would like to get more into the physical kind of stuff, because, you know, like I'm part of this now, I'm enjoying it, you know, I don't want to be just a person that like talks and like, you know, here's my latest henchman who's come to, you know, I actually need to get in there at some point and you know, smash cool man's face in. But yeah, these guys are fearless, man. And it is a muddy ground. It is soft, but when you probably saw like the bump I took on my next set, that fucking hurt. But like, but not like overly. You know, it's not. You know, it didn't break anything or anything like that.
Yeah, I was going to say it's sort of like that mental side of it almost is more challenging. Like you've got to be like almost okay with letting your body hit the ground in that way, so you can like land safely and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see some of these guys, you know, whether it's in the ring, which is on its way, or even like picked up for like a training center in US, UK, wherever. Because they train so fearlessly, just on the ground and stuff. I can't wait to see what they can do, like in a proper ring with like the elasticated ropes and everything like that. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the thing we're all looking forward to as well. And like again, like you say, this like I don't want to say notoriety. I feel like notoriety is the wrong word, but like this platform that you've grown now almost gives way to that option of like. We could see, like we've seen people come over to Uganda, we could see some of the guys at SGW come over to like the UK or the US and have matches and train a bit and like show people what they can do as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I 100% believe that, you know, some of the fighters there will be picked up. You know, they're good enough. You know, I think they prove themselves enough already. You just in, you know, the videos and stuff you can watch online. You know, just be picked up for like, you know, a 2-3 week training course at least. Just get them there and just to see what they can do. And I can't wait for that to happen, because it would be a proud moment where I'm like, yeah, man, those are my guys, you know, actually making it.
Yeah. Would you come over? Sorry, would you come over with them? Like, have a bit of the training school over here? This way you can start your journey.
I mean, if I'm invited, you know, I won't say no to like a free holiday or anything. But like I said, my thing is like I say, mainly the talking. But,
I was going to say that creative background you have sort of lends itself quite well to that. Were you quite natural at picking it up in terms of like sort of what was needed from you as Lord White?
Yeah, I kind of scribbled down a few notes in my notebook, but I never. Whatever I do, I don't ever have like a full script in my head. I've got like points of what I want to say, and then I'll try and hit all those points. But then I'll always think of something like as I'm doing it, and then I'll add that in as well, because I think, you know, if you practice it too much, it's going to sound robotic.
Yeah.
You know. So to me, my stuff has more of a natural flow, because I'm just like, you know, making the stuff. And I think the part with MXM where, you know, I kind of knew I wanted to piss and cool them, but then, you know, I kind of like, as I was doing, I was like, you know, open his mouth, let me piss in his mouth, you know, just to take it, push it even further.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how I like to work.
Yeah, and you must enjoy that, like, as again, like all wrestlers, I guess, is like that creative outlet, that chance to be that character, to like immerse yourself in it.
It's great, because again, what I was saying like earlier about like how there's good demand for like white actors here. Sometimes a lot of people, I find, don't know what to do with me. They'll want like a white actor, but then whatever character they want, they just want them to have like 2 lines, and he's like an investor, and then I turn up and I'm like, hello, here's your investment, do well with it. And I sometimes get like scripts offered to me like that, and I don't want to do that, but it's not, I'm not anybody but white man.
Yeah, it's like pigeonholing, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is great, because it's like I'm pretty much just given free rein just to build this into whatever I want, which is it's fantastic for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, hopefully that can like bounce back into like the TV and film stuff, and, you know, people can actually be like, well, we can actually do this kind of character. Let's write a proper thing for this guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, because like a lot of wrestling, as seen with previous wrestlers, a lot of wrestling can be seen as like an acting portfolio.
Yeah.
So like you can use it obviously to then build for other things that you want to do, be it in the ring or outside the ring.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's great just to have like a job. That's not really a job. It's just something I do for fun. It's like where I just talk shit.
I was going to say, like, again, I mean, we talk about your character. I mean, like, for British wrestling fans, obviously the huge thing over here recently was, like, a couple of weeks ago, you've sort of aligned yourself with Tate Mayfairs, who is the TNT Extreme Champion, of course, at the minute. Much reviled wrestler over here on these shores. Not very well liked by the fans. How was it? You know, how did that all come about? How did you end up bringing him to Uganda and having him sort of like help you out?
Again, it's very much like the MXM thing. It was kind of like, oh yeah, this guy's coming from the UK, and then I'm just like, again, who? You know, like. I had to look him up. You know, then, you know, Tate came over. I went down to SGW, met him. We were just kind of like discussing, you know, how we're going to do it. And but yeah, no, Tate was, you know, maybe this is gonna hurt his dickhead image a bit, but absolutely love the guy, honestly. But it's. I think it's doubly good because it raises a profile of SGW. We're getting. I mean, this is the best term that I can think to come up with it. I don't know if there's like a better term, but like professional wrestlers.
Yeah.
You know, but also the guys learn so much from them. Even though, you know, SEMA, MXM, Tate are only here for like 1 or 2 days in total. The amount of stuff they can teach the guys is fantastic. Like, you know, that I was watching back that Tate Jordan Lovering fight against myself just a couple of days ago, and I'm just like, damn, this is really fucking good.
Yeah.
You know, like it looked great when I was there, but again, I was kind of also focusing on staying in character. And I don't know if you saw, I did post it on Twitter, but it got missed in the edit, unfortunately, where Jordan's like in the corner, and then I kind of went live on Twitch for like a minute, and I'm just like, this is what happened in Newcastle, the whole time, like bashing in the face of the camera. So I was more focusing on that, but just the way Jordan, like, you know, even Jordan's great anyway, but the fact, you know, even just stepping his game up even more to match Tate. This is, like I said, this is why I believe these guys deserve all expenses paid training session at least, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say.
If anybody's out there from, you know, TNT, AEW, whatever, you know, just get their visa sorted, bring him over. Honestly, absolutely worth it. Seriously.
I was going to say, that's the thing, isn't it? Like we spoke about, like making sure it's more than just a gimmick, and you can see that when he wrestled Tate, was the fact that like you're like, oh, like he's not really missing a beat. Like it seems like they're just going toe to toe as if they'd wrestled like 10 times, 20 times before.
Yeah.
But again, that's, I think, something that I guess the experienced names can bring in, right? They can bring in that experience of like, this is how you work with someone, this is how you can make sure you can do it consistently. But also like to have that training from people who have been there and done it sort of like more so and for longer is just so invaluable. Like you say, even if you're just watching that match or from the side, you can be like, oh, this is how I can do this and this and this.
Yeah. It's like this, it's just invaluable experience. You know, this is stuff these guys will remember for forever. You know, having these experts, you know, come in, you know, and just help them raise their game even more, you know. Yeah,
for sure. I was going to say as well, like again, we stole some of Tate's street cred there. We got to make sure people still know he's a dickhead, because he is a dickhead. In terms of that, like again, the Lord White Tate partnership seems like such an obvious thing. It seems like so natural. Was it was it sort of quite natural to work with him in that regard, in terms of just being dickheads together?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to play a dickhead. You know, I always it's always, yeah. I mean, the villains are always the most popular characters in anything. Let's be honest. So to go dickhead to dickhead is just a great time. I loved it, man. And you know, I think Tate really enjoyed his time in Uganda as well. You know, hopefully he can come back someday, because like I said, you know, he only had time for like a couple of days or so, and Uganda's such a beautiful country. Once you get out of Kampala's a shit. But like everywhere else is just fantastic, and it would be great to be able to like show these places more of what Uganda is.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like I think, well, Tate will probably be back out there because you've got a belt now, right? You guys have got a belt, and Tate loves to collect gold. So I'm sure he'll be back. I'm sure he'll want a piece of it now that he's already been out there. I'm sure he'll think it's rightly his.
I've already counted myself out, actually, because as I say, I don't just want to win it. I want to take that belt. I want to see the sadness in their eyes as I take that belt from them. I mean, it doesn't matter who wins it. I'll be taking it off them shortly. You know, as even though Tate did my dirty work on me, I will turn on him in a heartbeat, and that's how confident I am. I am straight away right now saying I will stab Tate in the back.
Wow. Wow, Tate Mayfairs, watch out, Lord White's coming for you. He's coming for everyone though, he's coming for everyone. And that's, I think, the beauty of it. I mean, like, in terms of, again, just finally having Tate over, like, for yourself, as someone, again, who is more on the mic and doesn't really get involved, like, in the ring as much, that must have been quite a good learning curve as well, just to see how Tate sort of, like, carries himself and his talking ability, because I think that's what, like, he's a great wrestler, but I think his talking is what's really got him over as a bad guy over here.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm learning all the time as well. I mean, my theatrical background does help a lot. But you know, I was looking up all like Tate videos on YouTube when I heard it was coming up. I was like I said, who's this guy? And straight away I was like, yeah, this guy's great.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like, you know, the talking, the promos, that's like half of wrestling, you know, and that's it. You know, if wrestling was purely just for fighting, I wouldn't have that interest in it. But you know, it's been great watching and just like seeing how people deliver lines and stuff, and you know, play to the crowd, and you know, and. You know, I've learned a lot from what I've seen in the last few months, like I said, also from people like Tate as well.
Yeah, well, I think that it's interesting, isn't it? Because that sort of goes back to what you were saying, like, about how you came interesting and not watching it as a kid. Because I think when you're a kid, you see the colours, you see the show, you see, like, the baddies and the goodies, and you just have fun with it. But when you come to it and you're older, you, like, realise, oh, it's like you said, it's just a theatre production, right? It's just a stage thing. Like, you can put it on any stage anywhere in the world, and people would understand the story you're telling. It's just the fact that there's a bit of violence mixed in with it.
Yeah, and I think it helps as well that I'm not, like, hamstrung by the past. I'm not like everything I do is I'm not thinking, oh, I saw this guy do it 25 years ago. So it gives me very much like an outsider's perspective, which I think helps me a lot as well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know if I'm inadvertently copying anybody. But
that's almost the freedom of it, like you say, like that's like the freedom you have is like the idea is, although people might look at them and be like, oh, he's copying this, you know in yourself, like, no, because I don't know who that is, like this is just the idea that I had. And if it works, like if someone else did it, that just clearly means it's a good idea, right? It clearly means that it worked because someone else did it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. No, I love that. It's brilliant to see what you guys have been able to do. I mean, like again, you mentioned MXN coming over, like that was a huge thing. I mean, again, like that was another moment that went just like super viral on social media. Like, again, as someone who wasn't as familiar with everything, it sounds kind of weird, but like, were you aware of how big a moment that was? Like, outside of the moment itself, like for the wider wrestling community to be like, oh, like these guys are going over there. This is something that needs to be taken seriously.
I think once my first videos had gotten big, I think you know that's the point. I'm just like, okay, if somebody else now comes in from the outside, it's going to be big again. So yeah, I don't already have that knowledge that whatever was going to happen was just going to go supersonically on these now, and it's great that they managed to hide the fact they were coming over to Uganda as well. So I think if a lot of people announce they're going to come to Uganda first, it would hurt it. The fact that these people are just popping up kind of like unannounced, I think is great. You know, I did see somebody like comment on the when I went live on Twitch, like, oh my god, Tate Mayfairs is in like Uganda. Before like it was like official, but apart from that, it's just complete secret.
Yeah,
and it helps, you know. Yeah,
secrets are the joy of it, aren't they? Secrets are like where you get those like holy shit moments. So if you know it's happening, it's still holy shit. But then you know it's happening. You know to expect it. But those unexpected gems in wrestling are the ones you want. Again, like MXM, who have again like done a huge amount of like sort of like fundraising for you guys as well and helped you out, like, which is great to see as well. It must be amazing, not just the publicity you guys are getting, but also like in terms of like that financial support that you guys have been getting as well. Like it must show how important this is to people and like how much people want it to succeed and you guys to succeed. That must be really heartwarming.
Yeah, I mean, again, thank you. I mean, I said this before, but again, thank you to MXM and like everybody who has supported this project so far. You know, like, but yeah, I think you're right. It just shows how much people have like taken this to heart, and not just like regular viewers as well, but like the wider wrestling community. One thing I found like really interesting about like this new lifestyle, I guess I'm in, is professional wrestling just seems to be one big family. You know, I think everybody respects everybody else that works in it, like, you know, to a high extent. So the fact it's not just, you know, the regular viewers, but like getting that recognition and support from, you know, the big names, the big promotions, you know, is great, because you know, it just helps. I think that also helps legitimize it a bit more. You know, it's nice. It's nice to actually get that recognition. You know, I'm not saying for myself or anything. I'm just saying for SGW as a whole. You know, but not just like a joke, people like rolling around in mud. It's seen as like a legitimate thing, and again, this goes out to the wider professional wrestling professionals, and also, you know, the family as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you guys are doing that, and I think you're doing it brilliantly. I think again, that's so important. It almost goes back to what we were saying about the gimmick, doesn't it? It's taking it beyond that. It's making sure people look at it and be like, no, these guys are doing something good and important. And like, again, it's speaking of the importance. I see like SGW, they always tweet out like sort of like the backstories of their wrestlers and where they've come from and how they've helped them through and stuff. Like, that part of it is huge as well. That must be like, that's a really important part of it that like I think a lot goes unnoticed in terms of like the work behind the scenes of like how it's come about and who these wrestlers actually are and how they've been sort of like inspired by SGW and helped and like molded by it and given that sort of like outlet from it is really important as well. I think before I got there, like I think a lot of the videos were just, you know, this guy is fighting somebody else. So I think with my introduction, you know, straight away me coming in and like being a big character again is helping these guys develop their characters more, and you know, and it's kind of showing them how important it is to, you know, have a backstory, you know, have a personality that comes across. I mean, Cool Man has been absolutely fantastic. You know, he's not only like got involved in, you know, he's doing the promos, like disrespecting me, but he's gotten so better as well on social media. Like sometimes I'll get like a notification that like Cool Man's tagged me in something, and he's like, you're right, you're talking like hogwash and poppycock, and I'm like damn, I didn't even teaching me these words and stuff, and you know, because when I say that, it's like English isn't really the first language of anybody here. But I'm glad to have helped with that and inspired the guys, because again, I don't just want to be the guy that turns up, blah, 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 does my thing and fuck off. You know, I want to be able to help these guys with what I'm good at. Yeah. You know, and I think I'm good at, like I said, helping them develop a character, how they can utilize social media to promote their character and stuff like that. And to see them all getting better at that as well, you know, separate to the obvious athletic skill we all have. It's great, you know, again, like, it makes me feel proud. No, I love that. And like, again, sort of like, I think the wider thing is outside the ring, like you're seeing how SGW are like influencing and not only like helping themselves for like, we're running a wrestling company, like, you know, this is how we're going to progress the company, but also like helping the wider community. Like, it feels like it's that sort of very much that thing where they're not just in it for like themselves to run a wrestling company, but to help the people of the area, to help everyone, like give them opportunities and add something new, give them something different.
Well, I would love for SGW to become more popular here in Uganda. And this is, again, I'm going to mention Rick Hollywood again here. So Rick Hollywood, popular worldwide. In Uganda, nobody really gives a shit. They either don't know about them, or they know about them and think they're stupid. Here in Uganda, it's always going to be the hardest audience to win over. And I would love it if they could do that and, you know, put on outdoor shows. You know, like when I was with the theatre company, they're crazy popular. Like, when I would be doing like shows up country, people would literally like walk from surrounding villages to come and see.
Wow.
And, you know, I would be, you know, some nights I'd be performing in front of like 8,000 people on stage, and it would be great to bring that up to here, because it's something which isn't common in Uganda, but it's being able to make people know about it.
Yeah.
You know? There's been a couple of reports on Ugandan TV about it, but when the ring is set up outside, or even just for normal stuff, you know, just get some seats and invite the local community. Just get the public here. You know, I would love to see SGW on local TV. It's just like a half an hour highlight show a week. You know, something like what's a show with Craig Charles doing the commentary, like something like Takeshi's Castle,
right?
SGW stuff with like Takeshi's Castle style commentary over the top. You know, whether it's English or Uganda or something like that. Because it also lends itself to humour as well. And,
yeah.
You know, Ugandans are very funny people. Like when I say that, like
humorous, yeah.
So that would be my idea. It's always going to be an uphill battle promoting it here. Like to say, the international community just took SGW like that. Here, it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah,
I think.
And that's the tough part, isn't it? Because that's your like bread and butter. That's the audience you need to attract to keep going, essentially. Because if it's going to keep thriving and growing, it needs to be big where it's based, so people come and see you.
I would also hope as well that like SGW's success helps other wrestling promotions around the continent, because I'm sure there must be some. But
there's got to be,
because SGW again was so hard to find up here. I don't know. I'm sure there must be people, you know, wrestlers in Angola, Mozambique, Tunisia, wherever, and it would be nice to see like Uganda to be seen as like the home of African wrestling or something, but also bring these guys, because I'm sure there must be similar things.
Yeah, there's got to be, right?
Nobody knows about them.
Yeah, that's the toughest part, is getting the word out. Again, like you say with the audience thing, I think that's the trickiest part, because like if you advertise a theatre show, I feel like people know what they're getting, and wrestling is in that niche of theatre. But like I feel like it's a lot harder to advertise. It's a lot harder for people to be like, I'll give that a chance, because it's such a not divisive thing, but people like see wrestling as like, oh, they've never seen it, or they're like, oh, it's fake, and like know what it is but don't really know what it is. So it's a lot harder to get people to give wrestling a chance if they've never seen it. Whereas I imagine like advertising a theatre show is very different, in the sense that people are like, oh, I'll go to the theatre because I know what I'm getting. And it's trying to sort of cross that line, isn't it? It's trying to get people to see that wrestling is that and give it a chance.
Well, professional wrestling I find is actually popular here. But like, you know, if I'm going to get my hair cut or something in a barber shop, they've normally got like a wrestling thing on in like a TV in the corner. But again, it's like WWE, something like that. And football is really popular here, but then, you know, people here support Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, those are. You know, nobody cares about Ugandan football team. So it's gonna, again, that's gonna be the thing, you know, get them interested in the grassroots wrestling, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's hard. It's going to be hard work to do that, but it'll be a massive payoff if we can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It would make it all worth it, wouldn't it? I mean, that'd be great. That'd be great. As well, we're just sort of like winding down. It's been great learning about SGW in the meantime. We're just winding down now, but we've got a couple of little fun features here that I want to run past you. The first is what we call What's in a Name. And I always sell it as like, you are Lord White, of course. But let's say you can't make a show and you need a stand-in. And so, again, true theatre style, you're holding auditions for the next Lord White. What does that person need? What would that person need to show you to be Lord White? What does it take to be Lord White, essentially?
I think really it's just like good promo, like talking delivery stuff. I actually haven't, because again, like I said, I'm in and out of Uganda. I did have this idea that if I was ever to like leave, it would be a funny thing to make it like Time Lord White and just have me like regenerate Doctor Who style or something, just into something completely different. And again, it doesn't matter if it's like a completely different personality. It's still like another Lord White. But that's the thing. It's just be able to go in front of everybody and talk. It's hard, you know. It's because when I'm doing it, you know, there's maybe like 50, 60 people there maximum, and I've always found it easy to do my thing on stage. When, like I said, I used to do like in front of thousands, and you know, when it's like thousands of people, you don't really think about who's there. But it's harder to do it in front of like less people. So you've really just got to have that confidence, you know, just to get up and just immerse yourself in the character. That's another thing I find very important as well. Like I like to probably stay in character more than I need to. You know, I'll kind of get into character before the start of filming, and as well as like when something is happening at SGW, like a few local children will come and like watch what's going on, and I find it hilarious to like stay in character as Lord White and say, "What are you looking at, you old kids?" I mean, run away like scream. I almost made one cry last time, and I felt really bad. I had to like apologise to them. But that's the thing, you know. It's like I said, be able to talk, be able to get into character, and just like really just enjoy that moment in front of everybody.
Brilliant. I love that.
Personality just doesn't matter. Like I said, that's explained away by the regeneration. But
I love it. Brilliant.
There we go.
Brilliant. Well, that leads on nicely to our final feature, and this is called Anatomy of a Pro Wrestler. And this is essentially sort of what makes you you, not as Lord White, but now as we're talking, like what makes you you, but in a slightly wrestling sense. So the first, basically, I'm just going to list off some like quick fire questions for you, and you let me know what comes to mind.
Okay.
So the first one is what would be your ideal post-pinfall pig out?
My what?
Your favorite
post-pinfall pig out?
Yeah, pig out. So like, you know, like after you guys have had a show, like what would be like the thing you crave, the food you crave most, the thing you want the most?
Oh my gosh, I want cheese. Like Uganda has cheese, but it's really expensive and it sucks. So I want Wensleydale, I want Edam, I want Red Leicester. I just haven't had any of that in like a year. I'm just any kind of cheese.
When you leave Uganda and come back, do you like smuggle it across in your suitcase? Like,
I think it would melt. I think I bought like one chocolate bar with me last time I came in, and I was just like, that just went straight away. But yeah, there's so many things that you just cannot get. But the cheese is the main thing I just miss the most. You know?
Sure. Well, that leads nicely on to the next one. They're not all food-based, I promise. Only these first two. Okay. But the next one is like the classic, what would your like death row last meal be?
Cheese. No.
Just a mountain.
I can't decide to cheese over everything. I think I'm honestly very, very simple when it comes to my taste. I'll be happy with just like a burger and chips.
Nice.
So like the sweet potato fries.
Oh, okay. You're a sweet potato guy. I can't do that. I can't back that. I've never been a sweet potato guy.
The burger must be medium rare.
Thank
and
you.
again, this is another Ugandan thing. If ever I go somewhere and I have a burger, it's always going to come well done. You can be like, I'm going to have a medium rare. Nobody's going to listen to you. That burger's coming well done.
But no, thank you. I respect that. I get that as well because, like, especially if you're like out somewhere and you know it's quality meat, you know they're using quality ingredients, you know you can trust it essentially health-wise. Like, you want it a little red in the middle, you want it a little pink, just enough to give you that that extra juiciness to it.
Definitely.
No, I get that. I get that. The next one is what is the song that gets you the most hyped?
I really like All Night Long by Lionel Richie. It's just like that part in the middle where he's like, oh, jumbo jumbo. It's fantastic. I love that.
That's a great song. Yeah, it's a great choice. I love that. I'll back that. The next one is the next one I always say is like the movie that I'd show the locker room. So I always bill it as like it doesn't have to necessarily be your favorite movie, but like the movie you think everyone should see at some point.
I got a habit of downloading famously dog shit films and just showing them to people. If I had to show everybody like a movie here, I mean it's gonna have to be like The Room.
The most famously shit movie of all time.
I mean, yeah, because it's always funny just to see people's reactions. I've seen it like I don't know if you've ever been to the Prince Charles Cinema in London.
Yeah.
I think I've seen The Room there 4 times.
They do it every year, don't they? They always show it like it's like a tradition. Yeah.
And like twice with Tommy Wiseau like there as well. But that's the thing, you know. It's not a, you know. I have my favourite movies, but if I'm showing somebody something, I'm gonna be like, okay, let's see how they react to this.
Love it. I love it. It's a good choice. It's a good choice. The next one's a bit of a throwback because it's your first job.
Oh my gosh. I used to work in opticians.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I wish I was doing that now.
Very fun. Very fun. How did you find it?
I started doing it for like work experience, and like they liked me, but decided, do you want to work here like part time weekends? Like, you know, whatever. And I ended up doing that like for 5 years in total, you know, and just dispensing prescriptions and things like that.
Very fun. Yeah. It lends itself to wrestling perfectly.
I mean, it's now I struggle with real jobs, you know. Like I've done office shit before, and I just don't fit in it, you know. I'm probably going to end up doing stuff like this the rest of my life now. Not necessarily. Now that I started doing the wrestling thing, I kind of want to like stay doing this now because, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm like sucking my own dick or anything, but like it's been nice to hear people saying that I'm good. Like for somebody who's, like I said, no history, no experience. And it kind of makes you think, well, how far can I take this? You know? So, like you said earlier, if anybody wants to take me across for like a training session as well, yeah, definitely, because I want to see how far I can push this myself as well. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. The next one's the only time we get a little deep on the podcast because it's your greatest your greatest fear. Sorry.
My greatest fear. I can't stand heights. Always hated heights and stuff. So, but even like probably standing on like the corner post or turnbuckle or whatever it's called. Even that might be like too high for me. Like the idea of like jumping down, it's like ooh.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And wasps. I fucking hate wasps.
Wasps are terrible.
I used to be one of those people that used to be like, oh, if you don't move around, it's not gonna sting you. And then one day a wasp just obviously thought, oh, that guy's still, that's his knees hard and totally. Ever since then, I've just been like, get the fuck out.
Yeah,
like,
no,
I will go and like run out the room and like. And the problem is in Uganda, the wasps are like this big.
Hard to get away from. Yeah. No, I love it. The next one is only a couple more. The next one is your favourite place in the world.
Favourite place in the world. I like. I think probably Uganda. Like it's. I feel so much more comfortable living here than I did back home. I mean, I think, but then, you know, after so many years in the UK, I just got bored of it. But like, Uganda's so great. You know, the weather's mostly fantastic. The people are friendly. You know, I can buy like a big fresh avocado for like 10 pence.
Wow,
you know,
that's the sell. I mean, that's the sell for like. Sort of like, you know, the middle class in London. That's the like for the hipsters in London. That's the sell, isn't it? Like. Yeah. I can't get any decent cheese, but I can get like a big juicy avocado. But you know, this is like, you know, I consider Uganda like my second home. You know, this is. I was going to say before we get into the last question, that intrigues me as well because like I want to know about like. As a foreigner who's come over and lived in Uganda for a long time as well, like, do you see that there's like a stigma around like not just Uganda but like Africa as a continent in terms of like, oh, why would people move there? And like again, things like SGW, things like getting these things into the spotlight, be it theatre, be it like bands, be it wrestling, will show people like the side of that country that they have that wrong perception of.
Definitely. I saw like a conspiracy theory online like last week. Somebody thinking that SGW was all fake and it wasn't even in Uganda. And his reasoning was it's too hard to get to Uganda. And therefore they thought that MXM were just like going to Haiti or something like that. And they're like analysing my accent. They're like, oh, it might sound South African, maybe it's there. So yeah, there's this perception, and you know, it's not helped by the media, and like, you know, sometimes when I check Facebook, which is rare because Facebook sucks these days, I see so many people I know are just like, oh, living in the UK, shit, and I'm just like, yeah, move to Uganda, get the fuck out, but like. You know, it might be dangerous, but it's not. It's not. I feel perfectly safe here. You know, it's like any place. You know, like there's always going to be areas that you want to avoid or anything, but for the most part, Uganda's completely fine. Maybe. Like the big problems are like traffic and stuff. You know, when I'm walking down like a road. But one of the main ways people like travel is called a boda, which is basically just a motorbike, and you know they're always everywhere. You know, sometimes they'll just drive onto the pavement or whatever. You got to kind of like get out of the way. If anything ever happened to me here, it's going to be more like a traffic accident rather than anything untoward. You know?
Yeah. And like you say, you get that everywhere, right? There's always a chance of that anywhere.
Yeah.
Like I live in London, and in London, like I've seen some awful driving in London. And again, like you get that anywhere, right? So I think that's the thing is like helping that perception change of people being like, oh, why would you want to be there? Why would you want to be based there? Like, why should we pay attention to this sort of thing? So I think that's important. No, I agree. Back to this. The final question is your dream holiday destination?
North Korea.
For the intrigue.
Sorry?
For the intrigue. Yeah,
it's. I've always been. Places that people don't want to go, I want to go. So, you know, like I've visited like Moldova, Detroit, and you know all these places which aren't like typical touristy. One of my siblings, she goes to like Spain and just spends like 2 weeks on the beach. Like, I hate that. You know, and that's what, you know, like, because it's so bizarre North Korea. You just got to go there. You got to just completely do as you're told, or you get like locked away forever. I want to see it. You know, that's the adventure in me. I need to see. I need to go to North Korea or something.
I love that. No, I love that. Yeah, I love the intrigue behind it. I mean, like, if you ever fancy a trip to Iran, I'm half Iranian, I can recommend you some great Iranian food to try. Never been there myself, because again, the full fear of it. But if you fancy it, I'll help you out.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Not somewhere I would go. I think I avoid that. Yeah, maybe not North Korea. Like, I like the adventure, but maybe like a little less than like a North Korea or Iran. Maybe like like you say, like a Moldova or somewhere like Eastern Europe or like Africa, where like there's not as much again risk of like death if you do the slightest thing wrong.
Yeah. Well, if you ever want to come to Africa, come to Uganda. Like it's like I said, it's a beautiful country. It's just I'm mainly stuck in Kampala, which is horrible.
Yeah, it's getting out the capital. I think it's like a lot of places, isn't it? There are a lot of places. I feel like London's the same as well. Like everyone raves about London, but I'm like, no, you get out of London, and that's where the nice places are. That's where.
I mean, I used to live in London for like 10 years, so I completely understand.
Get it? No, that's great. That's brilliant. Well, Lord White, thank you so much for coming on the Grapple Through podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. I hope you've enjoyed it.
No worries. Yes, definitely.
Good, I'm glad. That means a lot. That means a lot. We always give... actually, sorry, I've got one more feature here. I've got one more question for you, and it's not a question that's been left by me, because we have a tradition on the podcast where our last guest leaves a question for our next guest without any knowledge of who they're leaving it for. As a Brit, I hope you'll understand this, because I feel like there are only a few people that I could have asked this to get it. But as a Brit, I hope you'll get it. Do you know the children's book, The Hungry Caterpillar?
Yes.
So your question is about that. Your question is, if you were the hungry caterpillar, what would be the final food you ate, like the last food that made it too much, that got you too full, and that's when you burst out and like sleep and become the butterfly? What would be that last food that drives you over the edge?
I think we already know I'm going to say cheese.
Would there be a specific type? Let's put you on the spot with that one. Would there be a specific type of cheese that would be? Yeah,
actually. Obviously, everybody knows like mini Baby Bells. I remember I can't remember how long ago, maybe 10, 15 years, I actually saw like a regular Baby Bell. They do exist.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing. I thought it was only the mini one.
I mean, like I said, I've only seen it like once or twice, but yeah, obviously like mini Baby Bells implies there are regular Baby Bells. Otherwise, they'd just be Baby Bells. You know?
That'd be it. The final food. You gorge yourself on Baby Bells.
On like a full size Baby Bell.
I think that's a good way to end it. I think that's a brilliant way to end it. Well, again, Lord White, thank you again for coming on. Our tradition here on the podcast is to leave the last word to our guest. So if anyone sees SGW on social media, on any sort of video player, wants to come and check you guys out, or sees you guys on social media and wonders, who is this Lord White I've heard so much about? Why is Lord White going to steal the show at SGW, and why should people check out SGW?
Because Lord White came over to Uganda and said he was going to colonise SGW and take back wrestling for the British crown. And Lord White is well on his way to doing it. As you will notice, everybody's talking about Lord White. All the Lord White videos get millions of views on Twitter. Everybody loves Lord White. And that'll make you all watching say thank you, Lord White, as well.